I'm feeling quite a lot better today. I think it's because I had a pretty good session at the gym this morning, and those reward hormones have patched a couple of holes upstairs. So that's for the best. But I've also been thinking today about why it is that I can't stop thinking about the ex. I don't mean literally can't stop. I mean why she keeps popping into my head on a daily basis. Trying to, again, frame the narrative in a way that makes sense, that I can explain to people. And the analogy I've come up for that is this. Say, for example, you are in an accident and you lose a finger. That would be a considerable inconvenience. It would probably take you several months, at least, to get used to having that finger missing. But odds are, for the rest of your life, you would be reminded daily of the fact that that finger is gone. And every time that popped into your head, so would the trauma of the accident that caused you to lose it in the first place. It's not a crippling injury necessarily. It's an inconvenience. Your typing speed would be reduced. Gloves wouldn't fit you properly. That kind of thing. But you can still hold a beer, you can still drive a car, you can still operate a keyboard, you can still live a normal life missing a finger. It would just be an irritating inconvenience, and one that's permanent, and one that you just could never forget. There'd be constant reminders every day of the fact that you suffered that inconvenience. That relates to my situation, in that the trauma with the ex has caused me to lose a part of myself, a part of my personality, really, a part of who I was. I used to be, before the ex, I was a really good person to know. I was the kind of guy who could never put his phone on silent, because I couldn't live with myself. If some friend or family member needed my help at 2 a.m. With anything, and they weren't able to reach me, because I was that guy where if you needed me, I would answer my phone at 2 a.m. I would get in my car, drive across town, and help you with whatever you needed. Didn't happen often, but it happened. And I was that guy. I'm not that guy anymore. I don't even answer my phone anymore. Not even if my mom calls. Most people I know don't have my phone number. I don't want to be contacted by people. I don't reply to instant messages, sometimes for days, sometimes never. I don't feel like the kind of person who wants to put himself out there to be available for people. In fact, my whole philosophy to personal relationships in general has changed. I no longer feel like I want to make myself indispensable to other people. On the contrary, I feel like getting to know people too much is a recipe for disaster, because in getting to know people, you have to let them know you. There's a reciprocity there. But letting people get to know you reveals to them your vulnerabilities, your weaknesses, and in my experiences, particularly with the ex, but with other people too, those experiences have taught me that if somebody has that information, if they know your weaknesses, your vulnerabilities, they'll use that information against you. And it's just not worth it. So, I used to be the guy who had a million friends, and every one of them knew that I was someone they could count on if they needed me. I now, several years later, have no friends. There's my romantic partner. There are a few people that I communicate with on a daily or weekly basis, but most of those people are either business colleagues or employees or people like that, customers, people who don't know my middle name, they don't know my birthday, they don't know my mother's name. With the exception of my partner, those people aren't my friends. They're just associates, people I enjoy spending time with, but people who, if I never saw them again after today, I probably wouldn't miss them that much, and they probably wouldn't miss me either. And it makes me sad that I've become that kind of cynical person, because that's what it is, really. It's a kind of misanthropic cynicism. Frankly, I don't see another way to live. I recognize that there was a time where I felt differently about that, but I can't get there from here, because the path from who I am now to that kind of a person passes through that missing zone, that missing finger. That's the part of myself that's not gone, and it's because of her. She's the one who killed that part of me. She took that away from me. And that's one of the reasons why I find it so difficult to move past that trauma.